You know, every single second of your life, your body is engaged in this invisible, high-stakes balancing act. It's a constant chemical battle to keep everything running just right, and honestly, there's zero room for error. So let's pull back the curtain on this incredible feat of biological engineering, your body's acid-base balance. Take a look at this tiny range of numbers. That right there, that's the pH of your blood. And it might not look like much, but that is the absolute tightrope of life. If your blood's pH strays even a little bit outside that razor-thin margin, critical systems start to shut down. It is, without a doubt, one of the most tightly controlled values in your entire body, and for a very, very good reason.
So, what's the big challenge? Well, it's this. Your body is basically an acid-producing machine. I mean, just the act of living, breathing, moving, eating, your metabolism is constantly churning out acids. We're talking about things like lactic acid when you work out, or carbonic acid just from using energy. It's this relentless push against that perfect balance.
So that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How on earth does your body fend off this constant internal acid attack to hold that perfect 7.4 pH? Well, it turns out it has this incredibly smart three-layered defense strategy. And that's exactly what we're going to break down here. We're going to look at why this balance is so important, and then we'll walk through those three lines of defense: the instant chemical buffers, the fast-acting response from your lungs, and then the ultimate long-term control from the kidneys. And at the end, we'll see how doctors can check in on this whole system with one simple test.
Okay, so first things first. Why all the fuss? Well, pretty much every single chemical reaction in your body is run by tiny proteins called enzymes. And these little guys are incredibly picky about pH. If it changes, they literally get bent out of shape and just stop working. It's like trying to use the wrong key in a lock. It disrupts everything, which is why keeping that balance is non-negotiable for staying alive.
And just look at what we're up against. Every time your cells make energy, you get carbonic acid from CO2. You go for a run, you get lactic acid. You eat a steak, and breaking down those proteins produces strong acids like sulfuric and phosphoric acid. This isn't just a once-in-a-while problem. This is a constant, moment-to-moment reality for your body.
So, when you're facing a threat that's happening every second, you need a defense that's just as fast. And that's where the first line of defense comes in, the chemical buffer systems. Think of these as the body's emergency first responders. They react in fractions of a second to soak up any sudden acid shock.
So what is a buffer? It's really simple. It's basically a chemical sponge. It's a solution that can soak up extra acid without really changing its own pH. When there's too much acid, the sponge grabs it. Not enough acid, the sponge lets a little bit go. It's all about keeping things stable. And the undisputed champion, the MVP of all these buffers, is the bicarbonate system. And what's so amazing is how simple it is. Your body just takes carbon dioxide, a waste product, and combines it with water. This creates a perfect little balancing act between a weak acid and its partner, bicarbonate. This simple pair is our key immediate defense. This is just brilliant. Look at how it works. Say you finish a hard workout, and all this strong, dangerous lactic acid floods your blood. Well, bicarbonate immediately jumps in and reacts with it. And in an instant, it turns that major threat into a really weak, totally manageable acid called carbonic acid. It's like chemical jujitsu. It uses the acid's own power to neutralize it. Just amazing.
But, you know, even the best sponges can get full. The body needs a way to actually get rid of the acid, not just buffer it. And that brings us to the second line of defense, which kicks in within minutes and is ridiculously powerful: your lungs.
Right, so your lungs aren't just passively moving air in and out. No way. They are a dynamic, active control system. They're part of what's called a negative feedback loop, which means they're constantly sensing the acid levels in your blood and adjusting your breathing to fix it. And here's exactly how that loop works. As soon as acid levels start to creep up, sensors in your brainstem pick it up instantly. They fire off signals that make you breathe faster and deeper. Why? Because by breathing more, you blow off more carbon dioxide. And since CO2 is what forms that carbonic acid in your blood, you are literally breathing out acid and pulling your pH right back where it belongs.
Now, the lungs are fantastic. They're fast, they're effective, but they can only handle the acid that comes from CO2. For all the other acids, and for real long-term control, the body calls in the heavy artillery. That's the third and by far the most powerful line of defense, the kidneys.
Yeah, this comparison really tells the whole story. If the lungs are the sprinters, getting a quick temporary fix in minutes, then the kidneys are the marathon runners. They're slower, taking hours or even days to get the job done,
but they can handle any type of acid, and they provide a permanent, lasting solution. And their master plan is just genius. The kidneys have total control over what they put in the urine. Too much acid, they pee it out. They also meticulously reabsorb every last drop of that valuable bicarbonate buffer so it can be used again. And get this, they can even generate brand new bicarbonate from scratch to restock the supply. They're the cleanup crew and the supply factory, all in one.
So let's put it all together on a timeline. It's this beautiful, coordinated defense. Within seconds of an acid hit, the chemical buffers soak up the initial shock. Within minutes, the lungs are kicking in, blowing off CO2. And then, over hours to days, the kidneys come in to methodically clean up the rest, excrete the acid for good, and get the whole system back to perfect.
Now, all of this isn't just cool physiology to know. It's something doctors have to monitor constantly, especially in really sick patients. So how do they actually get a snapshot of this whole complex system and see how it's working? They use a simple blood test called an arterial blood gas, or an ABG, and it gives them 3 crucial clues. First, the pH. That's the headline. Is the body too acidic or not? Second, the PCO2. That tells them what the lungs are doing. And third, the bicarbonate level, the HCO3-. That's the metabolic part. It shows them how the buffers in the kidneys are holding up.
So just think about that. With a few numbers from a single blood test, a doctor can read the entire story. They can see what the original problem is, and they can tell exactly how well each of your body's 3 amazing lines of defense is fighting back. It's an incredible window into one of the most fundamental processes of life.
And that kind of leaves you with this one last thought, right? Our bodies have spent millions of years perfecting this system. It's resilient, it has backups, it's self-correcting, it's got instant shock absorbers, a rapid response team, and a long-term strategic command, all working in perfect harmony. So the question is, what could we learn from this incredible biological blueprint to design better, more stable systems in our own world, in engineering, technology, or maybe even in our own societies?